Everyone's got a pulse this morning.
Yeah, I think so. I've been up since like 2:30.
Shit, you got me beat, man. Ugh.
I just couldn't.
I woke up at like 6:30 this morning. It was fucked up. I did not want to be up that early.
Even God doesn't want to be up that early.
I don't think he was this morning.
Yeah, I think I got up at 6:30 my time. So, oh. Well, what happened?
Who wants? Does anybody want to? Oh, I guess we'll just. Is there housekeeping for our 4th episode?
Housekeeping? I don't know. Do we want to recap what happened last week to you guys?
I did. I was attempting our T-ball game got canceled for this morning, so that was a bummer. So starting next week, we really will have to do this at a different time.
Okay.
So, but that got canceled because of the weather and stuff. So, but we had practice yesterday still, which was cool. So it's always fun.
What is it? Snowing or raining up there?
It had just rained the past couple of days, and the field was it's just absolutely unable to be. It was so muddy.
Yeah, it's been super fucking cold here the past couple of days for April.
Nice. I can dig it. I like the cold weather. I'd rather be cold than hot any day.
I'd rather just not feel any.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, well let's start it out. Ryan, you started out since that's the way it's been. So you go first.
Wait, I started out. This is your topic. You got to introduce what we're doing here.
Have we done? I don't think that's not the way we've done it. Whatever. Okay. So I chose drugs. And I just wanted everything.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, touche. Everything.
They told you not to, motherfucker.
Everything from recreational drugs to people, drugs that more addictive than the other. I think that the three of us, whatever you would like to admit and put out in the air, which is totally up to you. I think that we can all attest that we've had a fairly interesting relationship with drugs. And I also think that it's interesting how we're each kind of in a different place. Like Ryan is completely clean, is in college, has a kid on the way, owns a home, yada yada. I'm still struggling with some of my things, and Dylan say whatever he wants, but I think that Dylan also has, we all have stuff we're trying to shed. But I think we're all three at like sort of different stages of that, whatever that looks like. I think that, and that's not to bring anybody down. It's just my honest opinion and why I thought that it would be cool for us to do this. So I have a whole bunch of different little bullets that I'd like to kind of bring up, and I'm sure that maybe you guys do too. But yeah,
drugs right now? What's that noise?
What's that?
What was that noise? Are you cutting up drugs right now?
Oh no!
I heard the card like hitting the table. I was like, "Come on!"
No.
I saw you do drugs. It looked like powder.
So I'll just the first little thing that I have written down, and this was prompted by a conversation I had with my wife, is that it's pretty obvious to me that whatever relationship that you've had with drugs, whether you have never had a relationship with them or it's been your best friend for 30 years, whatever it is, and I'm speaking to the more illicit stuff, obviously, it's come to my attention that obviously in terms of drugs, that prohibition is about as useful as a fucking something that's not useful, right? Yeah. So the idea that, and prohibition, I think, has worked with other things. I mean, I don't, we could dive into some other things where a group of people was like, hey, we want to do this. And somebody was like, no, you're not going to do that. That's illegal. That might have worked for some things. But it's obviously, whatever your opinion is on drugs, I think we can all agree that our policies have failed, all of them. I don't know of a drug policy that I could, I don't know, but I'm also not, I'm not a lawmaker. So it seems to me that we keep bashing our head against the wall, and can't seem to kind of come up with something new. And in terms of, if you look at it from a political angle, I'd
For
say,
new drugs.
well, yeah, or you
No
could just,
problem producing those.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
I
no,
mean, that,
they know what they're doing. This is all fucked. We're fucked.
which is like kind of like what I said the other week or whatever. It's like we have this culture of like developing these issues, and then letting them act on the masses, and then when there's there's something that's need to be done, it's like we're kind of like, well, it's personal accountability. You did this to yourself, and obviously there's some amount of that that's true. There's there's obviously a big part of the argument that is just like, well, you got yourself here, and I fully I understand that. So that was just my thing, and it became apparent to me that the governor of Texas enacted a law to where instead of it being a fentanyl overdose, it's now going to be a murder charge. So say the three of us get together, right, and we're all addicts and we're all using, and I go get us some dope, go get it, come back, we all three do it. I'm now going to be convicted of murder. And I don't know of anything more asinine and anything more out of touch with reality for someone who is supposed to be of the people, and is supposed to be listening to you, to your people. I think
the freedom state, like the state that is freedom, like
yeah,
Texas,
right.
boy. It's like, oh, no,
Right.
we're gonna kill you if you do this dope here, boy.
It doesn't.
Like,
it really, the hypocrisy, especially when it comes to Texas and some of this, it's kind of wild. But I think it's interesting because my wife, who doesn't have the same relationship that maybe some of us do, she and still kind of sees that as something that would deter people from using. So she and she might be right. She's kind of, I think that she's more for that kind of thing, or more open to that kind of thing, which is fine. But it seems to me that it's just the same old, like, again, let's just bash our head against the wall and hope something different happens.
Yeah, the problem with that is there's still like 10 or 20, 30, 40, 50 million drug addicts out there. So unless you just like kill all them, you're still gonna have a fuckload of drug addicts everywhere.
Well, yeah, I think that it's just I don't, in terms of
Not
Governor
me.
Abbott. In terms of Governor Abbott, for example, like, I don't think he realizes that, like, me as a drug addict, I'm not going and buying heroin and buying fentanyl and cutting it and selling it. That's not what's happening. And I don't think that,
and I don't give a shit what you call it.
Yeah, and I think that if that was the case, if he was right and thought that it was like that it was being done that way, I don't know, maybe, but anyone who knows anything knows that the shit is coming from China and all these other places. We are not
coming from China.
We as addicts and most even drug dealers in this country, and I'm sure that there's offshoots, but most of those people are not cutting their dope with fentanyl to stretch it. They're buying it that way, and they have no fucking idea what it is.
No.
So to say that you can charge that person with murder is just, it's just, I just think it's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Fuck yeah, it is, dude.
So,
that is insane. Especially with how many people I've seen die in front of me. God damn, I'd have like 15 life sentences now.
Yeah, well, and the other thing that it doesn't really address is, like, again, if the three of us are using, right? If Ryan and I watch Dylan overdose and die, the likelihood that Ryan and I are going to call an ambulance and try to get some Narcan to him is almost zero.
And
Ryan and I are like, I'm not getting charged with murder because I was getting high with a friend. We're fucking gone. Yeah. And that other third person is going to sit there and have no chance whatsoever. Yeah, so all you're really doing by indicting someone or charging someone with murder is creating more you're just bodies. You're compounding the problem. Right. Yeah. So that's just.
I think in Alabama, actually, they have a law where you will not be pressed any charges.
They do. They absolutely do. A lot of states have that law. And again, it's just astounding to me to be so out of touch with what's going on. That was what shocked me when I heard that. I was just like, you really had no clue, like none whatsoever. So. And do I think that Abbott's like a malicious? I don't know. It's not, but I think that that's just a sign of ignorance. So, and that was the first one. I obviously would love to. There's all many aspects of this I'd like to talk, but maybe somebody else can kind of go with what they got.
So what I got is, I mean, it's really if you get charged with murder, like there's laws that we allow. We pay a government to fucking govern us, right? Like what you're saying is like, okay, there's this law in place that like, okay, because they said so. These people that have been elected will fucking throw you in jail if you're fucking distributing something that has fentanyl in it, right? Is that what? I don't watch the news, so I'm guessing that's what you're talking about.
Well, let me just say this. I cannot tell you all the ins and outs of it. So if anyone is listening to this and is like, no, that's not right. We don't have a comment section yet, but we will figure out a way to try and like work that in. All I know is
Tell us what we're doing wrong, quick.
Very surface level, and maybe that's to my detriment, but very surface level. I didn't go very deep into, but what I said is the basics of what I know about it.
Ow, my rib hurts. Sorry, it hurts to breathe right now for some reason. But no, yeah, what I'm saying is fucking like, okay, there's this law, these people fucking, I don't believe in much government like at all. I hate it. I'm not fucking for or against fucking anyone policing anybody, but like if you can't police yourself, like I mean, like what are we really doing? Like it's not like anyone's fault that fucking fentanyl's fucking in. I mean, it's not like you fucking like it's like you're doing fucking fentanyl. Yeah, the risk of fucking you might die. You're doing ecstasy, you might die. Like you're taking prescription drugs that like if you take too much, you might die. Like I don't think that's no one's trying to murder you or anything like that, but like it's also like to put the blame on other people for putting those laws in effect. It's not, and they're just doing what they're fucking paid to do, right? Like fucking you gave us the right to police you, so here we're fucking policing you, like if you really want to change something, fucking either stop fucking letting people police you or fucking just don't do fentanyl.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I agree.
Fucking simple, but I mean that and same
but at the
when I was like in my addiction, like you couldn't tell me like, oh, don't do. It's like I'd rather die than not do fentanyl. Man, you fucking crazy? Like that's fucking.
What's crazy though is you never would have been like, I'm gonna shoot fentanyl. Like that never would have came across your radar unless that was like pumped out from somewhere. I mean, it's not our fault, but someone is out there causing a little bit of mayhem. Right. They're being a little bit fucking. They're a ruckus. They're causing ruckus out there.
Yeah,
well,
there's some rascals out there,
dude. Their fault. Like someone's like, okay, look, I can get people fucking addicted to this drug, and then they can fucking pay me money to be addicted to my drug, and then they're fucked and I'm rich, right?
Yeah.
Whose fault is that? Like, it's not like, okay, someone had an idea, fucking make money. Like, I mean, that's what fucking America's all about. Make that fucking money, step over
for sure.
many dead bodies to fucking get there. It's not like, and I'm not like fucking pushing fucking heroin or fentanyl on anyone. Like, yeah, you probably shouldn't sell something that kills other people for moral purposes, but like, fucking, I mean, at the same time,
it just goes down to freedom.
Afghanistan for popping out a shitload of poppy fucking to produce heroin, like fucking more power to them, dude. The fucking individuals that fucking do it, like you're choosing to do something. I chose to fucking like I wanted to escape my reality, so I chose to fucking do those drugs. Fully well aware of the consequences. There's plenty of fucking information out there that fucking highly states heroin's addictive. But I was like, whatever, fuck it.
They're a bunch of pussies.
Not on fucking anyone else besides myself,
Yeah, I agree. My rebuttal to that though is that while I understand while I understand totally what you're saying, and I agree with you, I also think that it's time to. It's like we've got to put a Band-Aid on it at some point before we actually fix what you're talking about, which is the bigger picture of why, which is what I also want to talk about. Why do people want to escape their reality constantly? And that's a very a very interesting question, and is something that you could spend your life talking about. And while I get that and understand that, it's also to think about it this way. Fentanyl is now the #1 killer of men between the ages of 18 and 35. So what I'm saying is that something
might be 45.
Yes, some kind of tangible.
Hey, hold on, wait. I looked that statistic up on the CDC, CDC, and it's accidental death is the #1 killer.
Right, but the percentage of those that are fentanyl related, I think, is
Then I think it's heart
what's
disease
shocking.
after that, and then I think it's drug overdose.
What I'm saying is that it's become enough of an issue. I'll also put it this way: the opioid epidemic, whatever you want to call it, has now shortened the lifespan of the
Of an
average
entire generation.
of the average person of the generation. It has shortened the amount of time that the average person that's our age lives on the planet. So I totally understand getting to the root of the issue on a personal level with individuals, but at the same time, I also think that, you know, and again, I'm not a politician. I don't have any clue what how to legislate drugs. I don't. There are people that are paid to do that, that spend their lives attempting to regulate controlled substances and shit. So I just think that the bigger picture is, yes, it's on that person, but at the same time, like there has to be something to stop the bleeding before you can like think about the existential crisis that is wanting to use drugs all the time. You know what I mean? Like and again, I don't know what that is. I'm lucky enough that I quit doing drugs of that nature. You know, I never worried about if fentanyl was going to be in whatever, and maybe it was
Really?
around. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of lucky or blessed or fortunate, whatever, that it wasn't something. I mean, there are kids that are like 16, 17-year-old suburbanite kids who are going to a fucking football game or going to a party for their first time in their 10th grade year. Somebody's like, hey, here, pop a Xanax, get drunk, have fun. They pop and they're fucking dead. And like, that's, you know, and so are you going to look at the parent or the kid's best friend and say, well, you knew what you were doing, you should, like, that's, while yes, there's an element of that. I also think that it's a balance, right? Like it's got to be, you know, it's and I guess everybody's trying to balance everything. So it's just that particular law and that particular thing shocked me and just got me thinking. So
10 kids died from, I think this was last summer, maybe the fall. 10 kids died in Georgia that bought weed, and they like 9, I think it was 9 people smoked it and OD'd.
see that doesn't even make sense. I don't even understand how
I don't
that
understand
works.
it either.
I don't understand that. That's crazy.
It seems inefficient as a drug dealer to lace your
That's
weed
what I
with
told
fentanyl.
that's what I was saying.
Right. It doesn't make sense.
Well, see, maybe that's why that law is in place, because that's like some homicidal maniac shit. Like, you know,
Sure.
you're obviously
Sure.
like one of those
Crazy.
people that fucking and Halloween they put rat poison in candy.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's all. You know, that's also like 90% of that is all just bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
but
like
90% of everything we're talking about right now is bullshit. Like,
no, it's not. It's not.
I don't
though.
even know who I am.
It's not. I mean, you can say that and you can like make the joke and we can laugh, but it's not. I mean, that's not true. I mean,
yeah, but no, seriously, like, okay, so when I was when I was actively using, fucking, like, I would go out and look for the stuff with fentanyl in it. Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I would
got
want
to.
Yeah,
fentanyl in
sure.
my shit, like, because
Sure.
it just gets you fucking higher. Like,
yeah, but that's not the case with, you know, with I don't know, a majority, whatever the majority is, whatever the percentage is. I just think that to try and address the problem, why don't we try to address the problem maybe at the borders a little bit more, or try to adjust the problem by giving people ways to there's there's a million ways to deal with it aside from just saying you're a murderer. I'm going to throw you in prison for the rest of your life because you guys were using and someone had fentanyl in their dope. It's just silly. It's just silly.
you know, what is it? In Poland, they fucking completely legalized everything. You
Right.
can go into stores. I mean, and their numbers as far as overdoses and fucking addictions and fucking people going into treatment are like in the fucking 0.0%. It's like, I mean, nobody fucking overdoses over there because it's fucking governed. It's like you walk in, you're like, you know what you're fucking buying. If you want to fucking go shoot heroin, you can fucking, I mean, but then the amazing part of that is they have like barely anyone goes to treatment because there's no addiction problem over there whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, so
That's
you
interesting.
get the freedom and don't like fucking glorify this thing, and then also takes all the glamour away from it, and it's like, oh well.
I think it's a little bit. I think, and I don't know how long Poland's had that law, and I don't know anything about their
like 30, 40 years.
What I was just gonna say is like
Portugal. There you go.
what I was just gonna say is that's a great idea, but it's not like you cannot, Americans can, our government cannot come to us tomorrow and say, hey guys, you guys can all use now whatever drugs you want, any capacity you want. Everyone would, millions of people would die instantly. Had it been from the beginning,
man.
had it been from the beginning, like we didn't glorify it and we didn't make it such a big deal, yeah, I think that's the psychology of that is spot on. But I think we're way past doing that, like in Poland. I don't think that would benefit anybody in the US. I think we're way past that. So
Hey, sidebar, real quick. When you guys are staring at your Zoom screens, do you just look at yourselves, or do y'all look at?
I was just thinking that,
I was
dude.
like, I
Are
look
y'all
at
inside
myself
my head?
constantly, I'm like,
Am I in the Truman Show right now? This is fucking weird.
y'all are weird because I don't look at myself. Well,
I was just looking there, like, yeah.
well, I was like checked over to look
Yeah.
at Chris, and I was like, how long have I been staring at myself in this thing? Like, god damn it. Fucking, but yeah, drug policies and all that aside, dude. Like, fucking, what's going on with you guys and all that shit? Like, fucking, in using. What are you guys?
Well, who wants to go first? Dylan, you want to go first? Or you want me to?
I'm
And if you don't
battling
want
the urge. What?
I was just gonna say, and if you don't want to talk about it, you certainly don't have to. But
No, I don't give a shit. I've been battling the fucking urge to go get my Xanax script real hard, and I still take kratom like a motherfucker, dude.
yeah,
How much okay, so I never did the kratom thing. So what's like, what amount of kratom do you take, or what is that? Like, is it like heroin? Like, what is the?
I
I went to treatment with people that came in there strung out from fucking kratom, and they're like, I can just buy this shit at any gas station, at any head shop, at fucking.
Is that what they came in there for?
What?
Is that what they went in there for?
Yeah,
Like, I'm a
they were
kratom addict.
Yeah, kratom and fucking like weed and shit like that. It was always kratom and weed, like the two of them combined.
well, I'll
I
say
don't
this.
know, man.
I'll say
They
this.
had like
I
a
don't
super
know.
low
That's-
percentage of actually succeeding the program, because literally they would walk out and walk, out of the treatment down the street and go fucking get fucking kratom from the gas station, get
Yeah,
high, and then walk back and be like, please take me back, please take me back. The program,
The
like, they
fucking
let them
treatment
back-
center's
let them
like,
back one time.
does anybody take kratom or smoke weed out here? We'll take you in. You got an insurance policy, motherfucker? We'll
Yeah,
take you in.
the place I went, yeah, they fucking definitely treat that shit. But like, it was weird
Nah,
because
you'll have.
it's so readily available. Like me being a heroin addict going in there, I couldn't just walk out of there because I was in some city I didn't know where I was, and go. I mean, I'm sure I could have gone and scored fucking dope, but I was like, that sounds like a lot of effort I'm not willing to put forward to go do.
So I don't know. I mean, I was like doing so much, fentanyl and heroin and all that shit that I had to like seriously do a self taper because you can't like go anywhere and get that shit. And I wasn't about to go back to a fucking free detox. So I just did tried. It took like 3 months to actually, I kept getting down to like a fucking half a point and then like a quarter point, and then I'd fucking rise right back up. But finally I got it down to where I was like just fucking done. I started taking kratom, but it takes like 3 fucking days. So you're basically kind of fucked anyways. But after about 3 days of withdrawal, you can kind of start to like, kratom will help you a little bit, 2 days, a little bit. I don't know, man. It's just fucked. But you will have a little withdrawal without kratom. But I mean, it's like, I've been withdrawing for damn near 12 years. So it's not like for real though.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Huh?
I've been withdrawing like every morning for like 5,000 mornings or some shit. So it's just like, oh yeah, I guess I'm alive. I feel that pain. That's definitely there.
So you do feel sick when you don't take kratom?
Oh, let me hold on. I didn't realize
but
my
not
name.
like, dude, you're not gonna go rob a gas station. I wouldn't. I mean, I would have shot you in the face for some heroin some days. Not every day, but some days I was like, I'm gonna kill myself or someone. I've never gotten that bad from not having kratom. But you feel a little shitty. Like if you're not used to that shit and all of a sudden you're like fucking sluggish and fucking like have a little cold chill and shit, you're like, do I have the flu? Like what is going on? I've just felt that way for so long that it's just like, oh, I have no circulation. I can't feel my fingers ever. Like my toes are numb constantly. I don't know what's going on.
That's great. Well, for me, my story is similar. You guys will, or maybe you don't remember. My mom and I years ago were splitting a Suboxone script. Like I convinced her to go in and you know, tell them that she was taking more of whatever so that she could get enough Suboxone to where her and I could split it. And Ryan remembers that we worked together for a big portion of that time. But anyway,
Yeah, I would beg you for half of your half.
yeah, I remember it very
Come
well.
on, man, cut me off a slice of that.
You stingy fuck.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
You're
But
friends, Chris.
so once
You're like
once
crying and shit.
once Reggie found out, once my stepdad found out that we were doing that, he, you know, stopped her from being able to get the script. So long story short, that's when I started my thing with kratom, was to not be sick anymore.
Yeah.
And that was, God, how many years ago was that? That's probably, I don't know, 6 years ago or something, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway, I am to this day still struggling to get off of kratom. Very
Yeah.
like, struggling pretty seriously. Now I
identify with that totally, dude. I feel like I'm probably be on this for, I don't know, another 10 years. I have no idea, dude.
well I like experience, there's different like facets of kratom. Like with the extract, like there's extract, and then there's the leaf that they just crush up and put in a capsule. The extract,
How many extracts do you take?
well, I don't anymore. That's the thing.
Oh,
like
good.
in my worst day on those extracts, I would take 8 or 9 and I was having seizures.
Yeah, no, you get all dizzy and shit. Like,
I was
having like jolts.
and see, and hold on, this is the thing, this is why this is why I get into so many arguments with people online or on TikTok or whatever about people that promote kratom, right? And
Yeah.
the thing, my problem with that is that if you're in a situation where you're trying to get off something and somebody comes to you and says, here, take this and it'll help, the question needs to be, what is your end goal? So if you're trying to get off drugs, are you okay with being on something for the rest of your life? If you are, kratom's a great alternative. It's safer. It's not, you know, blah, blah, blah. There's all these things, but no one ever presents it that way. It's always just like, hey, you're coming off dope. Here, take this. It's a magic drug. It's fine. It doesn't hurt you. There's no way it can, you can't
that's what I was
overdose on
told.
it. It's natural. You can buy it at the store. There's all this shit that these people,
it's all bullshit.
It's all people. And if you notice, it's all people selling it. It's all over TikTok. My TikTok feed, there are people, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah from Better Botanicals, and I'm here in Michigan, and if you blah, 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 and I get in arguments with these people. Yeah, and so there's nothing really wrong with kratom itself. If you want something that's less whatever, and you're okay with just taking something that you buy at the store or buy online, if you're okay with taking something for the rest of your life, I guess it's an option for you. But if you're somebody who wants to get off drugs, and somebody comes to you and says, hey, here, take this for a couple of days and you'll get through it. I don't know how many drug addicts that are coming off of dope are going to get something that's going to make them feel better and then just stop taking it in a few days. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's fucking, okay, so you have fucking the government side of that where you have methadone clinics, which is literally verbatim what they tell you.
Yeah.
This drug will curb your fucking detox to the point where you're not going to be withdrawing, you can still function, and then we're going to taper you down and
for
blah,
6
blah,
years.
Yeah,
Right.
and they never taper you down. They get you stuck at one fucking level, and then fucking, you know, you just fucking flatten out and you're a zombie like that. But now it's like that's what kratom is apparently for fucking gas station fucking clergies. I don't fucking know, but that's.
It was all about being like less lethal for me. That's the only upside.
But it doesn't sound
it's way less lethal.
It sounds worse.
It's cheaper.
Like,
it's doable.
No, Ryan, you're not listening. I'm going to explain to you what this is and why it's dangerous and why it's not dangerous.
Chris, I am listening. This is not less lethal. You guys
it absolutely is 100% much less
shooting
lethal.
fentanyl every day.
Much less lethal than anything else that's on the street.
But
when I tell you, but I'm not talking about living, Ryan. I'm talking about harm reduction. I'm not endorsing it.
Okay.
I'm not endorsing it.
That's
I'm just saying that if you're somebody who wants to be on some sort of harm reduction medication,
just like methadone.
It's an option. It's an option for people that for some reason want to be on something forever. Now, there are different kinds of it, and different forms of it are more lethal or stronger than others. The extract that I was taking, no one should take. It's ridiculously strong. It literally will take you from here to here in terms of tolerance in a very small amount of time. It will. Now, if you take the leaf or whatever that we're talking about, I'm telling you, it's a much different.
It's like Percocets and heroin. It's literally like
that's a decent way to put it. Yeah. So
it's
while
that much stronger.
While it is, I have always been of the mindset, and I argue with people all the time that it is dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous. But what I'm trying to say in this conversation is that it is less dangerous than fentanyl, heroin, or any of that other stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
it still can induce relapsing like that. That's
it's horrible. That's the thing.
I'm
not, you know, I don't want to put this across like I'm trying to like convince anyone here that it's okay.
We're sponsored by Yo Kratom. He's like got a bag. Like
exactly, like all up here. No, it's terrible. It's a horrible way of living, and I feel sorry for people that don't get the right information when they're in such a vulnerable state. You've got somebody who's trying to change their life, and no one will have an honest conversation with them about it and say, this is the fucking deal. What's your end goal? That's the first question. You're coming off dope. What's your end goal? Are you trying to change drugs? Are you trying to switch from one to the other? Here, this is an option for that. If you want to be off drugs for the rest of your life, don't take this shit because it's legal. You can get it at the store. It's fairly cheap. It's kind of accepted. It's dangerous. It's like Ryan and I were talking yesterday. Like a functioning addict is fucking dangerous. That's like a very scary, dangerous thing. And kratom is a perfect example of it will turn someone into a functioning addict that was before, you know, shooting dope in the street, living on whatever. So it depends on what your end goal is and my end goal is to not be on anything. I hate the fact that I'm still taking this shit. I've been trying to do it this way and trying to do it that way, but long story short, I hate it. It's awful. So I'm not trying to convince anyone to take it, but the problem is that there's not honest conversation about it. That's where I see it. Had someone come to me when I first took it and I was told that it was not addictive, that it wasn't that big of a deal, that it was very cheap, it's all natural. The fact that they sell it at the store means, and again, I was in a very, very vulnerable, fucked up state of mind. So I was sure, yeah. And, you know, I'm not going to say I got duped because I went to take another drug to try to help get off of a drug. So I'm not, you know, but had someone had an honest conversation with me about it, it may have ended up differently, or it may not have. But I just know that I didn't have the knowledge or the know-how to do it. So I'm sitting here 6 years later, 7 years later, whatever, you know, taking less than I ever have. Because I mean, at one time, Dylan, I don't know what your experience is with it, and I don't want to like, you know, talk about anything. I'm telling you right now that there were days where I would take up to 120, 150 capsules a day. So you're talking about 60 to 75 grams of kratom a day, which is unheard of. Like,
yeah, I've been up there in like the 80s and 90s. You take like 33 times a day. It's fucking crazy.
Wait, how much does this stuff cost?
It depends.
Like $20 for what I buy is like $20 for 120 capsules or something like that.
Dude, I've scoured the internet, so where I get mine is it's whatever.
You buy it in bulk. You get like the big kilo bags for fucking $16.
Oh yeah. So what's the website for that?
You can, dude. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. I'm selling it right now.
Yes,
go to my website.
Yeah. I don't want to have this conversation anymore because I'm talking to somebody.
Right.
I'm not.
Is that the stuff?
Yeah.
Extract. Yeah. I take that shit too.
Yeah, Ryan. I'm not gonna continue this conversation if you're gonna even joke about it. It's not. It's terrible.
It sounds like it's a healthy alternative.
You're not taking drugs. It's not an alternative.
No, I know, and I'm being completely sarcastic. It sounds horrible, and
it is. It's terrible. It's terrible. But when it comes to harm, we have to admit, we have to. And I'm not saying that I condone harm reduction. I think it's bullshit. But we have to accept the fact that there are some people, a lot of people, that don't have the same state of mind as I do, or Ryan does, or Dylan does. So again, prohibition and just making blanket statements for millions of people doesn't work. It doesn't work.
That's just it, though. Don't try to make a statement for anyone. Just make it for yourself.
Hey, let me cool it down real quick. I got a question. and this might help with some things. My thing was like, what made y'all like kind of want to try it even in the first place? Like, what's your first, when you think like, God, what was the day that I was like, I want to try that? Like, do you remember what the fuck it even was that made you think that?
Are you talking about like what drug did we do for the first?
If you drank first or smoked
Right.
weed or smoked a cigarette or anything that you knew was bad that you were like, fuck yeah, I want to try that.
I can
I
tell you
know
what
it's
my
bad.
reason was.
They say it sucks. Don't do it. It's terrible for you. You'll ruin your life. And you're like, y'all are pussies. I don't know what y'all are talking about. That looks really cool. Like, do y'all remember that?
I know exactly.
What it
Mine
was
was.
like?
I remember the first time I got really inebriated on anything. Like I was with Nolan Connolly, and we were at the tennis courts in Bradshaw Farms. Ryan remembers that, I know. It was just he and I think we were
I
with.
got arrested with that kid when I was 12.
Yeah. I think it was Nolan and I were hanging out with two other chicks. Anyway, I ended up getting so high that I couldn't function, and Nolan had to like put me in the corner of this room and like tell me to like, dude, like calm down, chill out. I was uncontrollably laughing, like to the point where it was, it like hurt my stomach, it hurt my face. And I can tell you that I still remember vividly the reason why. It's because I wanted to fit in with Nolan. Nolan was older than I was. I don't know by how much, but he had a car. He was older than I was. And if Ryan, I don't know if you remember this or not, Nolan was a part of that crew of kids that were a little bit older than us, but that like somehow always had insane amounts of crazy good weed. Like it was like Nolan and Marty Frank and Steve Frank and all those kids that were a little bit older than us. They were the ones who was supplying the entire school with weed. So I ended up becoming friends with Nolan, and Nolan would like pick me up some mornings and drive me to school. He would drive me home sometimes. And sometimes we would smoke a bowl in the morning or whatever. But basically, I was interested in that because I wanted to be cool and I wanted to fit in and I wanted to be a part of something.
Yeah.
You know, something. So I don't know.
I concur, yes, to acceptance part of it.
Probably. And I think that most people, if they would talk to you honestly about it, probably there would be some form of that. Some form of like, I just want to be a part of, or I just, you know, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I just thought that was interesting.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say I thought that was interesting. Is to like your earliest memories of like, why would you go to the quote unquote like the darker side? Like, you know, people are saying like you see movies, you see commercials of, you know, all the bullshit. They say it's bad, and you're still like, and you know it's wrong, but you're like, fuck, I don't know. Something about that is like drawing to it. Well, and it is acceptance for sure.
It's funny you say that because I was just talking about needing the education and the information to make a good decision. And all of our childhoods were a little bit different. But I think that we can all attest to the fact that we were told quite repeatedly over and over and over that it was not a good idea to do any drugs. Smoking weed was not okay. Drinking alcohol is not okay.
Yeah.
I was told that, you know, up until I was about 15. So I have sort of a maybe a little bit of a different experience than some people. But what I mean to say is that we were all kind of given the knowledge and the education that I was just talking about, and we still made the wrong decision. So,
dude, I can remember the dare cops. Did y'all used to have those? The dare police that would come in? Dude, I remember him coming in, and I think me and Kyle had like, I don't know, already smoked once or had already been like talking shit about it and laughing at Half Baked or some stupid bullshit. And like, the cop like looked right at us. He was like, yeah, and y'all don't do heroin. He like kind of looked at me and Kyle. It was really weird. And we both looked at each other like, that's fucking crazy. You don't like smoke pot and then do heroin. Like you're a fucking, this is crazy.
I remember having those thoughts too. I
always think about that.
Yeah, I remember saying that too, constantly. Like, there's no way someone would take a jump from smoking weed to fucking doing some of the stuff that we ended up doing. Yeah. I've always been interested in not so much as like the what of like how we act as human beings or people, but why. Like,
me too, dude.
I'm not really interested in what you did that was so outrageous and crazy, but I just want to know, or I'm more interested in like what took you there and what you know. Here's the thing, you always hear the same thing when you hear about someone who's committed some crazy crime, whether it's murder or some massive theft or something. You always hear it said, and it's such a you always hear it said, oh my gosh, I would have never expected this person to do that. I've known this person for this long. There's no way that I would have ever suspected that person to do that. And I think that that thought leads to a lot of like you thinking that people are like better than they are, or you thinking that people are not capable of doing monstrous things leads to a lot of kind of pain, I think. And I think I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but um, it's I don't know. But like I said, you can have all the information, all the education you want, and still make horrible decisions.
Yeah.
And
it's like desire. Like I don't know where that shit comes from, but I do remember some like a little bit of self-acceptance. That's definitely part of it. But I was also like very, very curious about all that shit. Like
yeah, and I think that's normal.
I can't remember why or where, like what really planted a seed. Like, but I really, really enjoyed. I don't know why. I've never been able to pinpoint why.
Yeah.
It's just a weird feeling.
Well, a lot of times it goes back to, when you're looking at someone, myself, for example, like, well, I'll take my wife, for example. My wife does not do drugs, never has. She's smoked weed a handful of times. Since we've been together, I've seen her drink like 2 glasses of wine. So she's not one of us. She's not an addict, right? But if you were to look back at her childhood, there are many things that would lead someone to believe, oh, this person's going to be, just between us, her dad, my father-in-law was a bad drug addict at one point. He's not anymore, but he was bad off. And the stories that Megan would tell me about him coming to her for money and like all this shit that you would expect someone to end up whatever. She didn't. She's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
You have someone like myself who, again, up until I was about 15, it was pretty normal. And then after that, it was like all bets are off. You can kind of do whatever you want. And I ended up the way that I did. So I don't think that there's any, it's hard to just say, okay, well, if this happened, that's going to happen. If this person went through that, this is why that happened. You know what I mean? Like to do that I just think it's kind of ignorant because you're just, okay, well, all the other people that didn't happen to, there's no way that those people are going to end up like that because they had such a good childhood or they had the ideal, upbringing. It's just, there's no rhyme or reason to why someone ends up strung out or whatever you want to call it. I don't think there's a way to predict that.
It's fucking crazy to be like in your 30s and like know all this shit and still not be able to like really like, I don't know, man. I just have fucking fucked up days where I look like Ryan all the time right now. He's super depressed right now. He wants to kill himself and us.
Is it 10 o'clock yet?
What's the problem?
He literally, I look like him all day until I see y'all and put on a fake ass smile. I'm like, yeah, dude, no, I'm good. I take kratom. I'm happy, dude.
No, well,
most of the time I'm like staring at a wall. Like I could just end it right now.
Well, speak on it. What's the problem? What do you?
I hate my reality. I put myself in a corner I can't get out of. I dug myself a hole so deep. I just want to kill myself. Really, I don't even. Can you hear someone yelling? Hold on.
That's unfortunate. I don't know, man. It's tough. Ryan, what are you thinking about right now?
What?
I'm thinking the police are at Dylan's house. Yeah. That's what I'm
That's
thinking.
happened a couple times this year. Dude, did I tell y'all about the fucking time I woke up and was fucking just going upstairs to get something to drink, dude? This is straight up truth. I fucking just am walking into the kitchen, y'all know the house, and I like kind of look out those big kind of picture windows in the living room. And dude, if you can see my driveway.
Yeah.
Dude, I look outside and there is a fucking white truck, 2 dudes in the back and a guy in the driver's seat, and they're fucking in the back lifting my trash can out, putting down a new one, and fucking sped off, dude. Dude, we chased their ass out of the neighborhood, couldn't get them. Go back to the trash can. The cops took our fucking trash can and put a fucking thing of like Dunkin' Donuts, brand new boxes, brand new trash shit, just like perfectly clean boxes and trash bags in a fuck, dude. It was crazy. They stole our trash can and replaced it. I was bugging out, dude. Bugging out.
Oh
That
my
was like a
god.
year and a half ago. That was like,
Oh my
I don't
god.
know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. Fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a
Yeah.
side note.
That's great. All right, Ryan, go shoot. What's going on?
Why you want to kill yourself, dude?
I don't want to kill myself right now.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm
Lies.
good. I'm good. There's just nothing I can say in this conversation that's gonna like help anything. You know what I mean?
I think that we're looking at the conversation. Oh, I don't like, you and I have talks about, private talks about stuff that we might, options
Are
that
you
we're
taking kratom now, Chris?
Yes.
Do you take it regular? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. All
For
right.
sure. For sure. But as
I
far as
didn't know
what
that.
as far as what Ryan is saying, I think that I understand what you're saying. I can imagine for you it's probably um, I don't know, awkward or yeah, I can imagine how it would be difficult for you to sit there where you're at in life and listen to us. But I think I just think we're having a conversation here. Like, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not like looking for you to say something that's going to make me I'm not looking to you, and I'm looking for you as a best friend, but I don't want you to feel like you have to like give me some kind of crazy life affirming thing, or we're not going to be like as close or something. Like,
Oh
I
no,
love your
it's not.
advice.
Dude, I'm not God. I'm not gonna make you use or make you not use or anything. But you guys are two people I really care about, man. I
Yeah.
know where you're at, and I've been there, and it fucking sucks, and I just fucking hate it.
Yeah. Well,
There's
and
nothing.
that's
There's nothing I'm gonna say that's gonna be like, oh, huge epiphany for anybody, you know, because fucking I don't have it. But like, I'm not gonna chime into a conversation that's gonna fantasize or fucking, glorify someone else's fucking position as far as continuing on doing that,
yeah.
So
Well, I think you know what I wrote down as the first thing that I wanted to say, and I kind of buzzed over it, but like I wanted to bring up the fact that like Ryan, and I'm going to talk about you, whatever. I've known Ryan Ryan is in some of my first memories, honestly. Like some of the first things you know what the first memory I have of you is? We were behind Dean Rusk Elementary, and we were walking in line, being walked from like one spot to the other, and we were outside. And I think it was the first day of seventh grade, like the first day that you and I were at Dean Rusk in seventh grade, and we were and you said, "Man, I'm in seventh grade. I feel like such a man." And I looked over at you and I said, "Yeah, but you'll never be half the man your mom is." And I don't really remember what happened after that, but that's like I think that is my first memory of you and I, um, being together. But anyway, it's also interesting to me that
He just
while
wanted to get that old zing in there and bring it back.
yeah, that's my first memory. That's the I don't know what Ryan's first memory is of our friendship, but that's my first memory, and I think about that.
oh, I do remember, dude. Like we were walking into seventh grade. I remember that exact scenario, and you had like your Eminem fucking white
I don't remember what I was
do rag
wearing.
on and shit, and like your pants around your ass. You said that, I was like, who the fuck is this little shit?
Yep, that was great.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
great because if you'll remember, like I think like you and I were going to school together and kind of became friends before I moved into Bradshaw. Like very very briefly before that. Like there was a time where you and I were like, man, I can't wait until I move in. We'll be able to meet each other at the golf
Oh
course
yeah.
and yada yada. So we had developed kind of a friendship before we lived in the neighborhood together. So I think that at that time, when I said that, I think that we were acquaintances, but I don't think that we were, I don't think that we were close. But anyway, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to make a point here is that, um, you know, some of I would say a majority of Ryan's what he would call, I guess, his using days or the days, his darker days. He and I weren't even in contact. Like I would say that. Let's just say if there were 100 days, and it's obviously not. If they're just for percentage purposes, if you were using for 100 days, Ryan and I used together for what would you say, maybe 10 of those days, like 10%, 20% of the time.
Yeah.
So
That
my
sounds
point
right.
my point is that Ryan has been through some things and gone through some things that I can't imagine, and I've heard, you know, some of these things. I say all that to say that, like, if anyone is listening to this or ever does listen to this or whatever, you know, I can remember when somebody told me the first time that I didn't ever have to use again. I remember the first time someone was like, look, you don't have to like do this anymore, you know. Ryan, I think, is just the absolute perfect example of, you know, it doesn't really matter how far you've been or how, you know, what, how far you took it or how far it went or what you know, blah, 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 all that shit. I say all that to mean that, like, Ryan is an example of someone who could very easily, very fucking easily either not be here anymore or not be on this call with us and not be, you know, the person that he is. And I really do look up to you. And I think that you have something that I want. And I don't know if I've articulated that enough to you and told you that. It's not the glasses, no. But I need anyone who's listening to this, I need you to know that. I need Dylan to know that, like, that doesn't escape me. Like, what you've done with your life is not a small thing. It's not like you.
It's incredible, dude.
I know that you might be going through some things right now. Hell, we all are. But you've got to, you know, at least for an instant, just take a step back and like realize where you were and like what you've come from and where you are now and where you could be. Like I know that it's tough. You've got more, you know, you've got the school and you've got this and blah, blah, blah. But like, if you can just at some, you know, try at some point to just like, you've come a long way and it's inspiring. And I would like for people to know that, like, Ryan is that person who like had that rock bottom and came out of it. And, you know, so it is possible.
I'd like to thank the Academy
Yeah.
for making me.
You guys really like
Oh
me.
God, where would I be?
Yeah, right.
Don't play the music yet. God damn it.
But you know,
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, life is.
What gave you, like, when there was no motivation? What, like, was it that last time where you didn't know if you'd come back, or like what finally clicked where you were like there's always that time where you're like, I gotta quit.
When I realized that like this wasn't gonna fucking work.
Yeah, but that happens a lot. I'm talking about like when you were sober, even like what made you, like, where did you get motivation to keep doing sobriety from? Was you were just totally fed up, like, I can't do this anymore?
I went to treatment when I overdosed for like the fucking 11th time in my parents' basement.
Yeah.
With my fucking 6-month-old child upstairs, who was actually not even supposed to be in the house with me because DFACS had taken him. But I was at my parents' house, who was their temporary guardians for him. But they were letting me crash there because I'm their son, and you know, as drug addicts, we manipulate our way into anything. Yeah. And fucking woke up literally covered in blood because I've been up on like meth and fucking. I like took a razor blade and I was trying to cut the worms out of my arms, you know, fucking because I could see worms in my fucking veins, and had to like peel the sheets off me. And my sister was sitting there, and she was like, "Dude, you are the only person here. Your kid's upstairs crying," and she just like randomly came by the house to check on me because that's just, you know, Melissa just would do that kind of shit. And fuck, I don't even know how long I was fucking out for, but so I was like, okay, this fucking obviously isn't working. But like, and then going to treatment, you know, fucking 3 weeks into it, like just being around other people that were fucking sober. I mean, that's really all it was, is seeing that other people could fucking do it. So it was an option. I mean, I didn't want to fucking, you know, do all that work and self fucking reflection and all that shit. No one does, but like, I'm glad that I did because I get to see my fucking kid grow up now. So
yeah, that's fucking awesome, dude.
Well, and what you just said is the reason why I brought up what I brought up, because what you just said, that the reason why you were able to do that is because you saw someone else do it. So if that's why I kind of brought up what I brought. And again, no one's listening to this right now, obviously, but at some point there could be somebody somewhere, you know. So
yeah, but see, that's what's frustrating. Like that's why I got kind of so heated earlier. Like I would have never thought that I would have been able to do this shit, and I still fucking have to do shit every single day to fucking stay sober. I mean, you were sober for a while, weren't you, Chris? Didn't you go to like the Oxford Center and fucking?
Yeah, I was clean for almost 3 years. I mean, I was all about it. I was opening Oxford houses. I was I was getting grants from the government to do so. Like it was a yeah. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
and it's one shitty day away from fucking picking up and using again, and then fucking 6 years later, you're fucking, doing whatever, kratom or heroin or fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, but if it's like, if you don't fucking, if you don't see other people fucking doing it, if you're not in an environment that's fucking different than what you're doing right now, it's like, you had to go to the Oxford House to fucking get sober the first time, right?
I had to go to treat. I went to treatment and then I went to Oxford House.
Yeah, exactly. But like going to treatment, like what did you see? You saw like there was a fucking avenue that you could possibly fucking, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Sure.
as far as if anyone ever listens to his step work, like fucking realizing that you're not God and you fucking like, there's got to be something bigger than yourself out there. Because like in your addiction, you just sit there and you're like, I am all that matters. Like my high, my problems, my fucking sorrows and woes. You know what I mean? But then like being around other addicts that are like fucked up too, you're like, God damn it, man, I'm not special, I'm not unique. Like fucking, you let go of that ego. Fucking,
Yeah,
that's
dude. I don't. I've never, as a 37-year-old man, the whole ego thing, right? Like that you hear ego death, and you hear a lot of people say that going through that ego death will present, takes them to where they need to be or whatever. I have never until the last year or so ever really dealt with anything. Dealt with like my own ego, and I don't know what it is, but the past year, it's been a lot of the strife that I have, or a lot of the bad days or whatever that I have come from somewhere at some point thinking that someone else, whether it's my wife or somebody I don't know, is gonna think that I'm, a perfect example when Jack starts screaming, when my son starts screaming, because he screams, he doesn't cry. Like I'm not not being silly. It's not because he's crying. It's because in my head, I'm like, oh, either my neighbor or even my wife or somebody's hearing him crying and thinks that I'm not a good father, or thinks that I'm a shitty parent because my son won't stop crying. So, and that's ego. I mean, it's a little bit muddled, and you have to kind of realize that it's ego, but it's ego, and so it's so odd. It's
yeah, we
so
all care about what other people think about us, but like at the same
yeah.
time, like what do we think about ourselves? Like,
Right, right.
like I
Well,
fucking,
they're usually a reflection of each other.
that's what I'm saying. Like I fucking think people like, and I still to this day, like I'm like, oh man, this person's gonna think I'm fucking stupid because I don't know how to pronounce. Like literally, I was reading to my son the other day in bed, and fucking the word giraffe, right? And I was like, giraffes. I was like, what the fuck is a giraffe? My wife was like, what the fuck is wrong?
She's like,
And
I
then I was
married a
like,
fucking retard. You tricked me,
no,
motherfucker.
shit you not. I had to
You
look
tricked
down.
me,
I looked down
motherfucker.
at the picture that was under the word, and it was a giraffe. I was like, fucking giraffe. Like, and then, like, we all laughed about it, but then in my head, I'm like, she's gonna think I'm fucking retarded. Like,
Yeah, that's a real thing.
I mean, like, I was like, God damn, I'm stupid. And that's why I went back to school because I truly believed that I was fucking stupid. Like, I was like, until I admitted that, like, I was like, I'm a little dumber than a lot of people. Like, fucking,
Yeah, but
I was like,
see,
maybe I
That's
need to
such
do
a
something
funny thing to say, dude.
like I don't you I mean you say like that you're
Oh.
like and it goes without saying, and I think that you know this, that that's not an indication of you being dumb. That's to think that not knowing how
That's
to
a little thing though. I mean, I'm not kidding you. That's like a small thing. Like
I know,
like
but what I'm
barely
saying is
read.
that I can knowing you the way that I do, I can almost guarantee you that I would say 99.9 of the situations to where you end up thinking, "Oh my God, I'm so stupid," are absolutely trivial bullshit that does not take away from your actual intelligence.
No,
That's all
and
I'm saying.
I'm not saying that I'm like fucking, destitute, retarded, but
No.
like
I'll say this. How about this?
hold
How
on, wait.
about this? How about this?
Mentally
Wait for this one.
disabled.
How about this? Wait for this one. You are obviously
Destitute retarded.
I'll say this. You are obviously much more spiritually and emotional intelligent than the other two people that are on this call right now. So, I mean,
That might be true, but
right. And what really and what's more
well,
important, knowing how to spell giraffe or like being able to love yourself?
I think it's pronounced giraffes.
Right.
You said it wrong. No, no, it's but where I was going with that was fucking like until I admitted that like that was something that I felt about myself,
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't fucking do anything to change it.
Right.
But then I went to like, and then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna fucking, got the GED and fucking, I'm going back to fucking try this college thing out. And like, the first semester there, I was there. I was like, yep, it's a fact. I'm fucking stupid. I mean, but until I admitted there was a problem, like fucking, I couldn't. But now, like, I just, like, I fucking, I rock that shit, dude. Like, I'm fucking on there. I'm like, I got a scholarship. Fuck you. Like, tell me I can't do something.
Yeah.
But like, where I was just going is like, you have to like literally say out loud. Like, another thing I want to work on is like, I'm a pussy, dude. Like when it comes to confrontation, I back down so quick. I'm like, I don't want to fight. I don't want to talk. I want to fucking like.
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't want to do any of that shit. And I hate that about myself. I fucking hate it. Like when someone like says something that pisses me off, I want to be like, no, fuck you. Like let's have it out.
Well,
But
there's no. Well, oh, come on. Like, remember that time you and I were trying to find out what that word was that I call myself? It's contrarian. So whatever you're saying, I'm seeing or thinking the opposite of. The fact that you can bite your tongue when some asshat walks by and makes a comment, like you might think of that as weak. I honestly see that as the exact opposite. If you're walking down the street and you have maybe one of your kids with you,
No, I think he's talking about more like standing up for yourself when you know you're in the right. Even like your boss
exactly.
is a fucking prick.
Whenever I know I'm right and someone else is just ignorant or whatever, I'm like,
You're just like, I'm dumb.
Person.
I'm the dumb one.
Yeah, I want to be that person to be like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't affect me at all. But like, when I hear someone saying some shit that is like what we talk about on the show, like the lies and all the bullshit that's spread around, like, I mean, like, to just not say anything and be like, well, maybe fucking the world would be a better place if someone fucking told that guy he's a fucking douchebag, like,
Yeah.
So, but that's like I said, it's just something else that I try to work on, but whatever. I still fail miserably at it.
Well, all right. Well, we gotta wrap it up. So who's gonna I think it's your turn, Ryan, to choose the topic. I don't know about the white privilege thing, but I think it's now gone in a circle.
Okay.
So you're up for it. What's the? I have to piss so bad. Let's do this. Just do the scenario.
Scenario?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
don't even want the scenario, do you?
I do. Yeah, we just got to do it kind of quickly.
All right, close your eyes. Picture a waterfall. Lots of water, like flushing. I'm just fucking with you, Chris. How bad you gotta piss?
No, fuck you. Go. Let's do this. Come on.
All right. So okay, you've done the unthinkable, right? You're driving. In this point you're sober, right? And you're driving, and you fucking kill someone in a vehicular homicide, right? And then but you get put in prison for fucking 25 years because.
Wait, hold on. Is it manslaughter or is it homicide? Did you mean to do it?
Which one? Well, okay. So which one's the one where you get more time in prison?
A manslaughter is like if you kill somebody but you didn't mean to. It was an accident.
Yeah, accident.
Okay, so on purpose.
Still probably go to prison for the rest of your life.
Road rage. Better scenario. Road rage. You kill someone in a road rage scenario, right? You get sentenced to prison for whatever, the rest of your life. Fucking long time in prison, right? You guys there? You in prison?
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Florida, whatever, wherever. Whatever, the prison of your choosing. I don't care.
Sure.
Where. Upstate New York.
Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene, Oregon. Okay, yeah, that sounds friendly. So you're in prison and you're like, okay, I've accepted, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, blah, blah, blah. And you become friends with a cellmate, and he's a pretty nice guy. And he's fucking, he's nice. He brings you fucking extra toilet paper and shares his commissary with you. And you guys have some heavy conversations and stuff. And then one night he comes over to you, puts his arms around him and says,
dude, fuck you. I'm done.
Fuck you. Wait, the scenario, would you take a dick for love?
His love?
What?
Would you take a dick for love? Like if you fucking love this guy, would you?
Dude, yeah. Ryan, if you don't know I'm confused now. I've known you all my life. I didn't know you were fucking gay.
No, not gay. I'm just saying. I was thinking about it. I was like, could I love a man?
Ryan, I love you like any other man I've ever loved. I have never. I don't know. The answer is no. Like what? I don't understand.
I don't know, dude. I think I could take a dick if I loved the guy.
I gotta go. I
gotta go.
I do. I seriously do that. I gotta piss. So I'll say this. No, there's no situation. There's no situation where I would want to commit a homosexual act. Like I don't.
Oh, I mean, I'm not out of want. I'm just saying. This is a scenario. I could definitely 10 years in maybe
Think it'll slip in better, a little easier
I don't.
after
I,
you're in
I
the
don't.
love?
No, like, I don't know
lost.
the
I'm
logistics
not.
of it, how it all would work, but I'm just saying, like,
No, I've never. I've never
Dylan,
had. I've
what's
never.
your take on it?
I'm on the fence, dude. I don't know. It's gonna be lonely in there.
You get a sock and some lotion, and I mean, it's all the same thing.
Oh, Fifi, get
Yeah.
that.
Can I
mean,
fuck him?
No, definitely, absolutely. No, you're not just gonna
This-
take a dick. You're gonna be giving it too.
I gotta go. This has been great. This has been fantastic. Who's you doing the topic next week?
You guys are so close-minded. I swear to God. Yeah.
No, I'm open. No. That's the thing. That's always such an argument when you hear about. Like, I'm
Oh.
open. I'm open to it, but I don't want to do it.
Oh yeah. Wait, hold on. Wait.
I just don't want to do it.
Real quick. This lady that goes to UA, she specializes in identity gender shit, like the
Oh,
gender,
nice.
fucking the whole thing. Like, and she agreed to come on the show if we want.
Oh my god, I would love that.
Dude, it's-
wait. Hold on. She's a professor.
I think she has her master's in gender or something equality.
Oh, this is amazing. I can't wait for this. This is gonna be
Yeah,
fucking
it's
awesome.
fucking like, dude, I had a conversation with her the other day. I was like, this is mind blowing. Like, it's all
Dude,
like,
get her on. Yeah, I would. That would be. That's a very good conversation. That should be. Here's what we should do. We
Yeah.
should take that episode and really, really, really try and edit it and make it, because you put that out on Anchor. I think Anchor has a way for you to even put shit on Spotify. That is something people will listen to.
Yeah, so, but she said she'll do the show. We just gotta figure out a time. So if y'all
All right,
want,
I gotta piss. I love you guys. I gotta go though.
Love you too, man.
All
fuck
right,
her.
I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.
Fuck you.
Later.
Dylan, what are you doing?
What are you doing, motherfucker?
What are you doing right now?
Man, it's looking pretty bleak.
The
Looking
sun's
pretty
shining
bleak.
on your face.
Huh?
The sun's like shining through. It's looking pretty dark out there, bud. Pretty dark.
It's all gray, dude. It's all gray. I want to kill myself.
Yeah, sometimes I do too. So you're not alone.
Oh man.
Fucking where have you been?